Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy here, Ken. Talk about WWE. Some big things happened yesterday as a result of Raw, and some more interesting things tonight for the rebrand of NXT. We're going to talk about as well. And then even going back, I think last Friday, honestly, the momentum kind of started there with having such a really solid SmackDown that we had. Last Friday SmackDown was probably one of the best SmackDowns we had like all year, and I probably one of the best just televised WWE show we've had all year was last week's SmackDown. Anyways, getting into Raw. Raw was kind of but the big thing coming out of it was Big E cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase to become the new WWE champion. Absolutely incredible that Big E's the WWE champion. And, for those of us who have followed his career for a long time, since, being the second NXT champion, beating Rollins, to being called up to being Dolph Ziggler's, hitman, to being part of New Day, and just really developing over those last, Jesus, how long has it been since New Day's been around? 6, 7 years, it feels like, I think. See his character growth in particular, and just see him kind of come out of his shell and see like there is a personality under that hard exterior that we first saw when he was with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee. To now seeing him as WWE champion. Well, before that, his solo push that he got last year and being Intercontinental champion to now being WWE champion. Absolutely, it's a fun thing. It's a fun ride for sure when you see wrestlers who give it their all, and you watch them from the beginning and you watch them reach that mountain finally. It's a really good feeling for sure. And for me, a person of color, I'm always going to root for it being an African American. I'm a little shocked that they had him cash in on Lashley. But hey, that's fine. That's Lashley. I thought had a good run despite the shit that was surrounding Lashley. That was Monday Night Raw. I thought Lashley was a good champion and held it down for whatever they were able to do with him. So Big E. So here's my things. Here's my thoughts on it. The good and the bad. The good is I liked how Big E basically said, "Hey, I'm going to cash in my Money in the Bank briefcase." I can't recall in any past history of WWE any Money in the Bank holder say that they're going to cash in and they actually cash in on the night that they attempt to. So many times they'll say they'll cash in only for it to be a tease, and then no, not really, they don't do it, whatever the case. Big E's been saying it since I think Friday of last week that I'm coming to Raw, I'm going to cash in my briefcase on Lashley. I could cash it in on Roman too, but I'm going to Raw first. And yesterday he said it all throughout the program. Between whoever wins, between Lashley or Randy, I don't care. But I'm going to be WWE champion. I'm cashing in my briefcase tonight, no matter who wins. And he was a man of his word, and he won. And I really liked that. That was really the one big thing I really liked about this cash in particular. It felt a little off, a little flat to me just for a little bit, just because, I don't know, it was like they had Lashley. So normally, when Money in the Bank cash-ins happen, the champion is always vulnerable from being like beat up or, he's already knocked out. They did it kind of differently where Lashley successfully defended his title against Randy, but he beat up Randy, he beat up Riddle. The commentators played it out that he kind of like tweaked his leg or his knee, and when Big E came out to cash in, there was a moment where you kind of thought, okay, well, Lashley was pretty dominant still. Like he was tired and exhausted, but he still had some gas left in the tank. But his Achilles heel was this leg injury that the commentators were kind of playing out, which kind of bit him in the butt and gave Big E the advantage to finish him with the big ending and win the title. I'm not sure how I really felt about that. Obviously, I think it was done in a way to obviously probably keep Lashley looking strong since he had been dominant for well over a year. Secondly, maybe just because it's different, because with cash-ins, we're always used to the champion just being completely already just already like discombobulated, already just passed out and laying on the flat on the ground, waiting for the person to cash in on him. So maybe there's that. So yeah, that's the only thing. But other than that, the crowd ate it up. The crowd popped for it. A lot of positive reactions overall. Online in the reception of people, congratulating Big E towards his win. Then you get those two, the ones that they enjoy the moment, but they have to be real. They have to think really deep into it and say, well, it feels like they just hot shotted this cash in. They hot shot this cash in because WWE has been getting, for all intents and purposes, been getting some flack from a lot of fans and even some of WWE legends speaking up and against the company and talking about the momentum of AEW and how WWE is just kind of like going by status quo and not really doing anything. So there's that, and then I was saying, well, they're just hot shotted because they're competing against, football. I say this here. Whatever reason for their reason for having Big E cash in, whether it was to have something for their show to combat the opposition of football or the momentum of AEW, I say good, because WWE has stuck the status quo for far too long, and for Raw in particular, that brand needed something. It needed something. So if this was a throw everything you got at the wall and see what sticks, I'm completely fine with it. And by it being Big E on top of that too, I'm completely fine with that. I have no problem with that at all. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. My only thing is that I think had Big E cashed in on Roman, I think that would have been a much bigger deal. And that's not to say that Roman should have lost the title anytime soon. I don't think Roman's going to lose that belt till like post WrestleMania of next year. But could you imagine a Roman Reigns losing the title, having the belt for as long as has had it still, a cash in from Big E? I just think I think the payoff for that and the reception from that would have been much bigger compared to Lashley. But in whatever the case, that's just my long-term thinking. But other than that, I enjoyed the moment for what it was. I'm glad Big E is WWE champion, and like I said, it's one of, you could say, probably a couple of mini shakeups that WWE are going to be having. As they just, and I say this because in 2 weeks they're going to have the draft. Now, despite what I just mentioned about Big E cashing in, I think with the whole shakeup and people being moved around to the rosters and stuff, I think one person that may be thrown, and I'm just thinking about this pipeline, but he would definitely be a contender against Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre is going to go to SmackDown. Let's not forget, McIntyre and Roman Reigns have some history. They have some beef. Going back to last year's Survivor Series, when both men were champions at the same time with their both respective brands, they had a good program. They had a good build, and they had a hell of a match at SummerSlam. McIntyre looked strong in his defeat, but they had a good match. So they're going to revisit that and come back to that. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. Would McIntyre be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns? I don't know. But that match is going to happen. And it wouldn't surprise me if McIntyre gets drafted in 2 weeks when they have the draft to SmackDown. On to the next big topic of news here. It seems like the theme here is main championships being changed. So it was reported last week, it came from WWE, a video about Samoa Joe, saying that WWE doctors have spoken with him, and after speaking with him, they have concluded that the injuries that he has sustained, he should take some time off. They don't know for how long, but in him taking time off, that he should relinquish the NXT championship. So Samoa Joe is relinquished the NXT title. The NXT title is vacant. Excuse me. The Fatal 4-Way that's going to happen tonight between Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, LA Knight, and I'm forgetting a fourth person. Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, LA Knight. Who else am I missing? It's not Joey Gargano. I'm drawing a blank here. I can't remember the fourth person. But anyways, the Fatal 4-Way was originally supposed to be a number one contenders match. Now they're just automatically saying it's going to be for the NXT championship. So that just makes, curiosity for this new rebranded NXT was kind of already there, I think, for the audience. Now that we're going to have crowned a new NXT champion on top of this new first episode of this new rebrand reboot for NXT, that just kind of makes it even more. It makes it much more. It's going to two more eyeballs into the NXT tonight. My thoughts on this is really unfortunate for Joe. I think Joe, and I say this, and this is just my conspiracy theory, not doubting any injury or anything that Joe has sustained on his part. However, I do find it pretty convenient that on the week of NXT's rebrand, or the first episode of its rebrand, Joe is relinquishing the title. Again, we don't know how severe his injuries may be. If Joe was out for, say his injuries had him out for like 5 months, I'm not saying he should, hold on to the title for 5 months until he gets back. That would be awful. I wouldn't. Relinquishing the title would be the best choice in that matter. But it's really interesting to see, and you knew anyway that when Joe took the belt off Cross, it wasn't only just to get Cross up to the main roster, but Joe was just going to be a placeholder to give the belt to who they really want to, because Joe just really isn't the same Joe we all knew and love at the end of the day. I thought he had a good match with Karrion Kross. It wasn't outstanding, but it was good. But Joe did look a little bloated and look kind of gassed, at least the first 5 minutes in. But despite that, I just still find the timing of it all and it could just be by coincidence. I just find it really peculiar and just really strange. But NXT tonight, at least on paper, definitely looks interesting. Some interesting matches. Definitely the main event has been escalated. Out of everyone, out of the 4 competitors who I think should get it, I wouldn't mind Pete Dunne. However, I think a lot of people are forgetting that Pete Dunne's contract expires soon, and like Adam Cole, he had his contract extended like Adam Cole. So I don't know how far his contract is extended into. I think it might be like until October or something like that, last time I remember. But I don't think they would give him the belt. They could give him the belt as a way of just kind of throwing him a bone to make him re-sign a new deal, but I don't see WWE doing that. So for those reasons, I don't think they're going to give Pete Dunne the belt. I think it'd be awesome, but I don't see it. I know a lot of people have been saying Kyle O'Reilly. I'm really not looking for that. Kyle O'Reilly he's a good wrestler, but Kyle O'Reilly being like the main guy, the main champion, I'm saying no to that. And I'm saying this because I've seen Kyle O'Reilly as world champion in a promotion before, and the guy just doesn't do it for me. He's not world champion material. When he was Ring of Honor world champion, like, no, it just doesn't work. And I know eventually at some point, whether it be tonight or 6 months down the road, he's going to be NXT champion. I'm just not looking forward to that day, when or if it ever comes, because this whole cool Kyle gimmick thing, it's very cringe and it's very cornballish. And he's not a mainstay guy. He's not. Who I think should get it is LA Knight. With this whole talk and rebranding of NXT being, WWE bringing in bigger guys, more muscular guys, and whatnot, LA Knight fits WWE's mold. He's a big buff guy. He's got a good look. I've always been a fan of LA Knight's mic work. I think he's great on the mic. He's a good wrestler. It's not terrible, but it's not like, he doesn't do what you would normally see, the flippy and the flu hot flops and all of that stuff. But that's not his style anyway. But he doesn't embarrass himself. And like I said, he's a good trash talker. He has personality. He is someone that WWE looks for and likes in a star. So I'm rooting for LA Knight to be NXT champion. I think it makes sense for him to be champion and to kind of be that guy for this whole rebrand, this reboot that they're doing. LA Knight is the right choice for it. Regardless of how talented or skilled Pete Dunne is or Kyle O'Reilly are, knowing what we know and what we've been knowing for weeks leading up to this rebrand, none of those guys fit that mold for this new vision that NXT has. LA Knight is that guy, at least to me. So you guys let me know what you think about Big E cashing in Money in the Bank. What you think of it? What do you think about Joe relinquishing the NXT title? And who are you rooting for in this Fatal 4-Way tonight to be NXT champion? I want your thoughts in the box below. Do yourself a favor, like this comment, and subscribe. Peace out.